The Magic of Thinking Big is one of my favorite books I've ever read on self improvement. Honestly, this book was a surprise to me because I've never heard of this book before. My mom bought it for me as a gift, and I keep an Amazon list of all the books and on self improvement and philosophy that I want to read and apply to my life. But this book wasn't in there. I've never heard it before. My mom just got it for me. I was surprised. I have no idea where she found it, but I'm so grateful I was able to read this book because the lessons the author David Schwartz gives in this book is so important and so helpful, and I feel like it helped my life so much, and I want to share these lessons for you guys. I feel like for young men, the lessons in this book is very helpful on, fixing your mindset and fixing just your life with these self-improvement tips. So I just want to give you guys some of the lessons that I've learned from this book, and hopefully you can apply them to your life as well. The first lesson that I found very helpful in The Magic of Thinking Big is in chapter 1, titled Believe You Can Succeed and You Will. Schwartz says the first step towards success is by believing in yourself and believing you can succeed. He gives you 3 steps to unlock this mindset within yourself. He says the number one thing, step number 1, think success, don't think failure. At work, in your home, substitute success thinking for failure thinking. When you face a difficult situation, think, I'll win, not I'll probably lose. When you compete with someone else, think, I'm equal to the best, not I'm outclassed. When opportunity appears, think, I can do it, never I can't. Let the master thought, I will succeed, dominate your thinking process. Thinking success conditions your mind to create plans that produce success. Thinking failure does the exact opposite. Failure thinking conditions the mind to think other thoughts that produce failure. Step 2. Remind yourself regularly that you are better than you think you are. Successful people are not supermen. Success does not require a super intellect, nor is there anything mystical about success. And success isn't based on luck. Successful people are just ordinary folks who have developed belief in themselves and what they do. Never, yes, never sell yourself short. And the last step he lists, step number 3, is believe big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Think little goals and expect little achievements. Think big goals and win big success. Remember this too. Big ideas and big plans are often easier, certainly no more difficult than small ideas and small plans. Those are the 3 steps he gives you to unlock belief in yourself. You can listen back to what I just read and try to analyze it deeply and see if you can get anything out of that. Schwartz also states that every man needs a program for self-development. Nobody is going to make you successful besides yourself. He says that you have to do it yourself. You have to make your own plan for success, and that's how you're going to grow and unlock this belief in yourself. That's the first lesson from this book that I learned. The second lesson I found was in chapter 2, titled Cure Yourself of Excusitis, the Failure Disease. Schwartz says, you will find that the most successful people, the more successful the individual, the less inclined he is to make excuses. He goes over 4 common types of excuses that people make. And the one that really stuck out to me was he talked about health excuses and how a lot of people will use health-related things to create excuses on why they can't do certain things in life. For me, I hurt my lower back, and for a really long time I made so many excuses on why I couldn't go to work or go to school or hit a certain workout, and I would constantly complain about my back hurting, which it did hurt and I was actually injured, but I was starting to use it as this mental crutch to not do things in my life and failing to do things I wanted to do. Schwartz states that to get rid of this health excuse problem, you can, number 1, refuse to talk about your health. The more you talk about an ailment, even the common cold, the worse it seems to get. Talking about bad health is like putting fertilizer on weeds. Besides, talking about your health is a bad habit. It bores people, it makes one appear self-centered and old-maidish. Success-minded people defeat the natural tendency to talk about their bad health. One may, and let me emphasize the word may, get a little sympathy. But one doesn't get respect and loyalty by being a chronic complainer. That relates a lot to how I used to always complain about my back. The second thing he says to help health excuses are, refuse to worry about your health. Dr. Walter Alvarez, emeritus consultant to the world-famous Mayo Clinic, wrote recently, I always beg worriers to exercise some self-control. For instance, when I saw this man, a fellow who was convinced he had a diseased gallbladder, although 8 separate x-ray examinations showed that the organ was perfectly normal, I begged him to quit getting his gallbladder x-rayed. I have begged hundreds of heart-conscious men to quit getting electrocardiograms made. Be genuinely grateful that your health is as good as it is. There is an old saying worth repeating often. I felt sorry for myself because I had ragged shoes until I met a man who had no feet. Instead of complaining about not feeling good, it's far better to be glad you are as healthy as you are. Just being grateful for the health you have is a powerful vaccination against developing new aches and pains and real illnesses. It's amazing. That's an amazing step right there. And then step number 4, remind yourself often, it's better to wear out than rust out. Life is yours to enjoy. Don't waste it. Don't pass up by thinking yourself into a hospital bed. This helped me so much to overcome my lower back injury, especially the not worrying part, the not complaining part. I feel like it's really true that the more you complain about it, it actually manifests worse, and the pain starts to get worse for me. Once I started to put this into practice and reframe injuries, the injury I had that way, and to not complain about it, even if I felt pain, I'm not going to tell anybody. That's kind of how I started to treat it. It really helps you feel better, and Schwartz gives a really good tip to help you in your life with this health excuse problem. So yeah, that's lesson 2 from The Magic of Thinking Big. The third lesson I found was in chapter 3, titled Build Confidence and Destroy Fear. Schwartz starts off the chapter by giving us the fact that all confidence is acquired, developed, and no one is born with confidence. I really like that because it reframes confidence in a way that makes you feel better at attaining it, and that no one is born with it, and that if you see someone who's very successful or very confident, they weren't just born that way. They had to do something to get that. And as an individual who I really like having that power over my own life, like with exercise and stuff, that if I can do some certain task to build confidence in myself, I'm not forever doomed with anxiety and whatever. Schwartz also states that action cures fear, and whatever you are afraid of, you got to isolate it and take a specific action to cure that. For example, if you have social anxiety, first acknowledge that to build confidence, you have to take action and take small steps to overcome that. So for social anxiety, you have to first say, okay, I'm feeling some sort of weird social anxiety about going to my friend's house or going to talk to this girl. And then realize, okay, what is something that I can do to take action towards not feeling this way anymore and trying to cure it and develop confidence within yourself. That's what you have to do. So an example of that could be like, just make yourself go to your friend's house for 10 minutes and you can leave, make an excuse and leave. That would be a step towards curing it. You could call your friend on the phone. That's a step towards curing it. For the girl example, a step towards curing anxiety of talking to girls is you could just walk by a pretty girl and say, hey, and then walk away. You're never going to see that girl again, but for your own developing confidence, that was a step of taking action that's going to help grow some more confidence. So yeah, this lesson was very helpful for me because I really like the idea that confidence is developed and you're not born with it, and that can help empower you in your life a lot more if you're someone who has struggled with confidence. Yeah, so that's lesson 3 from The Magic of Thinking Big. The fourth lesson is also found in chapter 3, and Schwartz states to deposit only positive thoughts into your memory bank. What this essentially means is that throughout the day, you have the option to deposit and manually enter in positive thoughts into your mind. I, by habit, used to always think negative. Just my mind would like automatically go to negative thoughts and negative perceptions of myself or the work I had to do or school or whatever. I would just automatically turn negative. And this lesson helps because it reframes thinking in a way where that you can choose to think positively. You can just manually put in positive thoughts into your brain, and that over time it's going to improve how you feel, improve how you think. And it's a habit that you can form. Just like working out, you can choose to think positive. You can choose to put in thoughts into your brain, and it's going to help you feel better. So an example that I could give you to help with this is like, It's kind of like affirmations. You could just say affirmations to yourself. Be like, I look good today. I feel good today. Or I'm ready for work today. I'm ready to go work out. I'm so hyped for this. Say stuff like this in your head, and it's going to help build up this positive thought memory bank over time, and you're going to essentially start to think positive more often. That's the fourth lesson that I've learned from The Magic of Thinking Big, and I think that one's pretty helpful, I would say. Lesson 5 comes from Chapter 5, How to Think and Dream Creatively. Schwartz states that capacity is a state of mind. How much we can do depends on how much we think we can do. He also states to strive to do more in life and to do better at those things that we do in life. I really like the capacity part because it really helped me realize that I had been a slacker for so long in high school, and for most things besides exercise, I slacked at. And I dreaded going to work. I dreaded doing any sort of like task, like making my bed, doing the dishes. Sometimes I don't do the dishes, but in general, I have gotten better at doing these tasks because you have to see that it's your capacity. So a lot of the times we don't do these things because we don't think we have the capacity to do so. And your mind will let you come up with all these negative answers on why you can't do it. But once you realize like, it's all just a state of mind, and you can flip it to the opposite and say, you know what, I can handle more tasks. I can handle another job. I can handle another class at school. I can handle doing the dishes. I can handle making my bed. I can handle exercising more. Once you start to think this way, it improves your life, and it improves how you tackle your tasks throughout the day. And, if you another thing is you can ask yourself how can I do better? How can I do more? And once you state that question in your own mind, your mind is going to come up with answers to give you, and it's going to just randomly throw some stuff out for you throughout the day, oh, I could switch up my workout. I could take 10 minutes off my workout and have enough time to go home and make my food, and then I'll be able to go to work. It's stuff like that. That's a new way you can think about reframing your own capacity on all the stuff that you can do throughout the day. So lesson 6 I found in chapter 6, and it's titled, You Are What You Think You Are. Schwartz says that others see in us what we see in ourselves. To go deeper on that, he states, how you think determines how you act. How you act in turn determines how others react to you. Like other phases of your personal program for success, winning respect is fundamentally simple. To gain the respect of others, you must first think you deserve respect. And the more respect you have for yourself, the more respect others will have for you. That is amazing right there. So test this principle. Do you have much respect for the fellow on Skid Row? Of course not. Why? Because the poor fellow doesn't respect himself. He's letting himself rot away from the lack of self-respect. Self-respect shows through everything in everything that we do. He also states that appearance, looking good, is very important, because if you look very good, you're going to feel good about yourself, then you're going to think good about yourself, and you're going to take better actions. And once you do that, other people are going to perceive you in a much better way, because once your perception of yourself changes for the positive, other people can almost feel that energy of you. Me and my friend were talking about at lunch, with girls for general, if you want to meet a girl, it's very attractive when a girl is very confident in her appearance, and it's very unattractive when the girl you're talking to is insecure and she doesn't like how she looks, her hair's bad, all this shit. And the same thing with guys. If you have a friend who's very insecure, I used to be this friend who very looking at his face and his hair and his clothes, and he's always obsessing over it, and he looks bad. It just brings down the respect you have for them. Compared to someone who looks very good, dresses good, their hair looks good, they're fit, you just get more respect for them. So you got to work on your personal appearance and the vibe and attitude you give out, and make sure that reeks true, authentic confidence, and then others are going to respect you more. And then another question Schwartz says that you could ask yourself, and it is Is this how an important person would do this blank? And you can apply that quote to literally everything. Is this how an important person does his schoolwork? Is this how an important person talks to a girlfriend? Is this how an important person hangs out with his friends? And you want to think in terms of like everything you do, is this how an important person does this? You know, and that sets you up for a higher standard that you put for yourself. Once you have a higher standard, you're going to start looking better, feeling better, acting better, and then in return, people are going to perceive you better and have more respect for you. So yeah, that's the 6th lesson I've learned from this book, and I think it's very helpful and something to keep in mind in your life. The 7th lesson that I learned from this book that I find useful was in chapter 8, titled "Make Your Attitudes Your Allies." Schwartz states that attitudes are mirrors of the mind. They reflect our thinking. What he means by this is essentially that your internal attitude or your external attitude that you're conveying in the world reflects the thoughts that you're having within yourself. So, and people can perceive that. So essentially that means like, if you have a bad attitude, that means you have a bad perception and you have bad thoughts. And if you have a good attitude, that means you have a great perception of the world and of yourself, and you think good thoughts. He also touches on enthusiasm, and that having an enthusiastic attitude is very important towards your well-being and life. And he wants you to cultivate what's called this, he calls it like an activated attitude. It, like in quotes, it literally says, "I'm activated." And what he means by that is like towards literally everything in life, you want to have this activated, up, energized attitude towards, what you're doing. You can apply this towards people, things, tasks, workouts, work, movies, anything. It's just a type of energy that you want to cultivate. Enthusiasm, activated, etc. You could like say these things to yourself almost like an affirmation. Like before you go and hang out, you could be like, "I'm so hyped to go hang out with my friends." Or before I work out, "I'm so hyped to go hit this dirty pump at the gym." And yeah, like it's really just the way that you think within yourself and perceive yourself and tasks is going to convey a better attitude towards the world. And you can force that. You can literally manually create your attitude to be better by essentially just becoming like way more interested, way more grateful, way more activated. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the 7th lesson that I've learned from The Magic of Thinking Big. I think that's very helpful to cultivate a very strong, positive, fun, activated attitude. So the 8th lesson that I found in this book is in chapter 9, and it's titled "Think Right Towards People." Schwartz talks about likability and how your own thinking can determine if others will like you or not. Schwartz lists us 10 different things that you can do to become a more likable person. And I'll list them off for you. Number 1, learn to remember names. Inefficiency at this point may indicate that your interest is not sufficiently outgoing. Number 2, be a comfortable person, so there is no strain in being with you. Be an old shoe kind of individual. Number 3, acquire the quality of relaxed, easygoing, so that things do not ruffle you. Number 4, don't be egotistical. Guard against the impression that you know it all. Number 5, cultivate the quality of being interesting so people will get something of value from their association with you. A lot of people are very boring to talk to, and it's very unlikable. Number 6, study to get the scratchy elements out of your personality, even those of which you may be unconscious. That is something that's very useful towards guys who may be anxious or awkward or not good at talking to people. You want to become aware of those things and then work on it. The 7th thing he lists is sincerely attempt to heal on an honest basis every misunderstanding you have had or now have. Drain off your grievances. Very good. Number 8, practice liking people until you learn to do so genuinely. I really like that. I think that sometimes people who fall more on the negative spectrum of thinking and attitude like I used to, I just love the concept that you can practice these traits and get better at them. You can practice liking people until you genuinely feel that way. The 9th step he lists is never miss an opportunity to say a word of congratulation upon anyone's achievement or express sympathy or sorrow or disappointment. This is going to make you a better person. And number 10, give spiritual strength to people and they will give genuine affection to you. So those are the 10 things that he lists to become a more likable person. Go back in the video, rewind, write each one of those down. Another good point from this chapter he mentions is like to take initiative in building friendships. Go out of your way to talk to people, meet people, and don't be timid. If you want to build relationships, you have to be the one inviting people to hang out. I still struggle doing this. I always used to be the guy who's like waiting for the person to text me or text me to come hang. And that over time, that makes you just kind of a shitty friend because you may not think this, but people are going to start thinking like, oh, Will never invites me to hang out. He must not like me. Even though that might not be how you feel, it's a perception people have of you. So to be a more likable person and be a better friend, be the initiator. Invite people to go do something. Invite your friends to go for a workout. Invite your friends to come over and, hang out. Invite people to go do something. Invite people to go see a movie, go on a hike, go on a trip, etc. Be the one who's the leader and initiating, and that makes you a way more likable person. Yeah, so that is the 8th lesson from this book, Magic of Thinking Big, and I really liked lesson 8. So, lesson number 9 is also in chapter 9, and Schwartz talks about what's called thought channels, like a TV channel. That's what he's kind of referring channel to. Essentially, he states that you can tune your thoughts into either a positive channel or a negative channel. And a great thing that I took away from this is that he mentions like what's called like a concept of chain reaction thoughts, and that if you tune into negative thoughts, it builds a chain reaction of negativity and makes it easier and easier to think negative thoughts. So you could literally just think one negative thing, like you could see a homeless guy and be like, oh, that guy's a weirdo. And that negative thought could my bad. I don't know why that just popped up. But yeah, you could think a negative thought. Fuck, I just got off track. I was talking about chain reaction thoughts. Negative thoughts, yeah. So if you think a negative thought, it's going to have this chain reaction effect, and it makes it a lot easier to think of negative things. And the same goes with positivity. And if you tune in and force yourself to think positive thoughts, it's going to have this chain reaction effect of making it easier and easier, and more often you're going to have positive thoughts pop into your brain. That's something I found very helpful, and I think it's very it's another great point of why thinking positively and manually forcing yourself to do that is so important, because that chain reaction effect can really get you, especially with the negativity. Like that's why a lot of us develop, like myself, you develop these like negative thought patterns because they have chain reaction effects, and it's good to be aware of that so you can kind of stop that snowball effect and think better towards life. So the next lesson or two will be from chapter 10, Get the Action Habit. This is a great chapter with multiple good lessons on the concept of taking action, and essentially every high status career like entrepreneur, anything that's a really high paying, high status job requires a man who is going to take action and get things done. Schwartz says, a fair idea acted upon is 100% better than a terrific idea that dies because it wasn't followed up on. Schwartz talks about how a lot of people have trouble taking action and seeing success because they wait for the conditions to be 100% perfect. But the reality is that the test of a successful person is not an ability to eliminate all problems before they arise, but to meet and work out difficulties when they do arise. We must be willing to make an intelligent compromise with perfection, lest we wait forever before taking action. It's still good advice to cross bridges as we come to them. I really like that because taking action, a lot of people struggle with taking action because we wait for things to be 100% perfect. I relate to that because I always waited for my lower back to heal. I'm like, oh, I can't get a job until my back's better. I can't start working out until my lower back doesn't hurt. Or like with talking to girls, it could be like a lot of guys have this issue where they're like, I'm not going to approach pretty girls until I'm really jacked or I'm really confident and really handsome. But it's like, you can have that thought, but the reality is that you're going to have to just take action when things aren't 100% perfect. And that applies to literally everything: creating a business, creating a YouTube channel, working out, talking to girls, doing all these sort of things that you want to do. There is no perfect time, and you can't wait. You have to just do it now and take that action now. That's what sets a successful man apart, is you just say, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking start right now. I don't care if things aren't perfect. And that's how you get stronger. That's how you see these people that are so successful, and they seem like everything's all together, and that there was almost like they were born perfect, but it's not how it is. You just have to take action when you're not ready, and then it develops you later into being ready for new tasks. But yeah, I don't know, I found that very helpful, and it helps put in perspective things you have to do, and that you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect. You can just start now, and if you fail, it doesn't even fucking matter. The fact that you tried is better than not trying and waiting for things to be perfect. So this is an amazing lesson that I really like, and it's lesson 11 that I found in chapter 10. And it is: use action to cure fear and gain confidence. Schwartz states that action feeds and strengthens confidence. Inaction in all forms feeds fear. To fight fear, act. To increase fear, wait. Put off and postpone. The main lesson here is that, taking action it's really going to help you feel better and get better at something, no matter how scared you might be. Essentially, like, let's say you have a fear of, let's go back to social anxiety. Let's say you have social anxiety, or a guy who's felt that before. And let's say you keep getting invited to places, but you keep canceling because you're so scared to go. And the lesson here is that inaction of not going and letting the fear win is making that fear get stronger and stronger. And the only way to feel better and to gain confidence and decrease any fear that you feel in your life is you have to just face it, take action, and move towards it, no matter how terrible it may be in the moment. Over time, it's going to decrease, and that fear will completely go away if you just continue to take action and trying to overcome it. And the more you hide away, or you don't do the things you need to do, and you let that fear win, it just grows and grows. And yeah, I like to equate it to talking to girls or cold approaching. And the less you do it, the more you chicken out, and the fear grows. And the more you do it, the less and less the fear over time works. It's literally just two sides of the same coin. The less action you take, the more fear you get. The more action you take, the less fear you get. So I really like that lesson. I think you can equate that to so many different things in life. Going to a job interview, talking to a girl, going to the gym. Any sort of fear that you feel, by taking action towards it, it will decrease. And by not taking any action, it will increase. So yeah, keep that in mind. I love this lesson as well, and it's lesson 12, also found in chapter 10. Chapter 10 is an amazing chapter. Taking action is a very amazing topic that I like to learn about. And he talks about the mechanical method of taking action. Schwartz says that people who get things done in this world don't wait for the spirit to move them. They move the spirit, and the spirit could be your soul, your drive, your ambition. You move it. Not the spirit doesn't move you. You move your spirit. And essentially, the mechanical method to taking action is by forcing yourself to do whatever it is you have to, by just moving your body in the direction of whatever you have to do. He equates this to his mother and how she would do the dishes, and that she dreaded to do the dishes, but he said his mother always did it every single day. And what she would do is that after everyone was done eating, she would instantly get up, start grabbing plates, walk over to the the dish pit in the house, and start doing it. And the lesson here is that with any sort of task you have to do, anything that you're dreading, or monotonous tasks like making your bed, doing the dishes, doing laundry, even going to the gym, going to school, there's a way that you can force yourself to do it without even thinking about it. And it makes it so much easier to do these hard things, because all you simply have to do is turn off your mind and move towards whatever you have to do, and just start. And after a while, you'll just start to enjoy doing it. And yeah, I think this method is very effective in accomplishing 90% of the tasks you have. And it also falls on the kind of in the line of that last lesson of like not waiting for things to be perfect, and you just start now and your future self will just thank you later. So lesson 13, this is the last lesson I'm going to give you guys, and it is from chapter 12, titled Use Goals to Help You Grow. Schwartz states that the next time you see a particularly well-poised, well-groomed, clear-thinking, effective person, remind yourself that he wasn't born that way. Lots of conscious effort invested day by day made the person what he is. Building new positive habits and destroying old negative habits is a day-by-day process. He also mentions that to think improvement in everything you do and to have high standards in everything you do. I love this so much because, like some of the other lessons, it shows that, I mean, you see someone who's very successful or very happy or very handsome, a lot of the time, they weren't just born that way. They had to work on specific things every single day and improving themselves, and then that's the final version you see. They didn't magically pop out of the womb like that. Jacked, handsome, confident, rich. Those are things that are developed and obtained, not something you're blessed with. So sure, some people are blessed with things like that, but the majority of time, it puts it in a much more obtainable perspective to see that like that person developed that, and so can you. And I really love that for self-improvement because I just really think it empowers you to grow as a man and to grow better. Yeah, so that's pretty much the video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of the lessons that I was speaking about in this video. If you want to purchase The Magic of Thinking Big, this is my favorite book on self-improvement. I'm going to leave a link in the description, and you can purchase through that link, and it might give me some money, I think. It's like the Amazon affiliate program. So yeah, purchase this book through the link in my description. This is literally my favorite book on self-improvement. I really think that if you could read it yourself, annotate, underline, star lessons that you like I did, you're going to get similar benefits out of this book that I did. Also, if you want to start getting in shape and working out and you want to build a strong physique, I am selling a 12-week workout program on my website. It's called The Foundations of Aesthetics, and I think it's a great program that I designed for my younger self and for kind of a skinny guy or out of shape guy who wants to be jacked but doesn't know how to train like that. I put all my favorite exercises that build the most muscle in the most effective way, and I put it into a 12-week program. And I think that if you really are trying to make your physique look better, get on self-improvement, get jacked, get stronger, this is a program that I wish that I would have done when I was younger. So if you want to purchase that, check it out on my website. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And yeah, so that was the video, guys. I hope you got something out of it, all these lessons that I was listening to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video I post. I'm trying to post every 1 to 2 weeks, and stay faithful to that. I'm gonna try to do that for a while. See if I can grow my channel. So yeah, peace out.